What is going on, guys? Wonderman Boxing. Today we're going to talk about Errol, the true Spence Jr., what he said about Canelo Alvarez. But before we dive into that information, go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate you guys for the feedback. Let's go. Now, Errol Spence had an interview with dazn. You know, Errol Spence, who has a fight against Ugas. You know, he's looking to catch 2 belts. Yeah, he already stated that he has 2 fights left at 147 pounds before he moves up to 154. And that is the fight between Ugas and Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. So you can see that Errol Spence Jr. is looking to create, legacy for himself, and he's all about it. That's why he's called the truth. But let's see what he has to say about Canelo Alvarez, and then we'll dive more into that information.
Do you think he becomes undisputed at light heavyweight if he has to fight? Obviously, he's fighting Bivol. If he gets past Bivol, do you think he beats Arthur Beterbiev? Should he beat Joe Smith? Do you think he becomes undisputed in that weight class?
I mean, he can. I think he can. I mean, he has a skill set. I mean, it seems like he got the chin. So, I think he can do it.
You know, we had Jamal Charlo on last week, and he said he's tired of people talking about Canelo's ducking him because he went up to a higher weight class, which is a harder fight at 175 pounds. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, Canelo right now, he's doing whatever he want to do. And he's chasing history. I mean, just moving on like that and fighting, the champion at that weight class. That's, what he's doing is unheard of, just skipping weight classes, going up and down, fighting people. I mean, much respect them, he doing whatever he want to do. So, say he ducking anybody. I don't feel like he ducking anybody.
Okay.
There you have it, guys. Errol Spence Jr. respects Canelo Alvarez. And you know the crazy thing about this is that Canelo Alvarez also respects Errol Spence Jr. He said that if anyone deserves a fight to have a title shot against Canelo Alvarez, is Errol Spence Jr. because he's creating his own lane. He's creating his own legacy. Now, this goes to everybody out there that's saying that Canelo Alvarez is a ducker and this and that. They even talked about Jamal Charlo when he was at Mike Tyson Hotbox. He said that Canelo Alvarez don't duck no one. Errol Spence feels and thinks that Canelo Alvarez doesn't duck no one either. He thinks that it's crazy that Canelo Alvarez is moving up and down in weight because real recognize real. You see what I'm saying? Canelo Alvarez respects Errol Spence Jr. Real recognize real. And that's it. That's it. People know what Canelo Alvarez is doing. People know that Canelo Alvarez is moving up and down in weight. This fighters actually always attend to Canelo Alvarez's fights. I always see him in the stands. So that's what I'm trying to say, guys. When you know what's going on in boxing, when you know who's creating legacy, that's when you know your facts. You know that real is recognizing real. That's why I think that Errol Spence Jr. and Canelo Alvarez are creating their own lane and they're creating their own names. And I truly believe that Errol Spence Jr. is actually going to go, all in with all the belts at 147 pounds. He could potentially beat Terrence Bud Crawford as well. No, it's not going to be an easy fight, but I do have him coming out victorious against Ugas, which is going to be a tremendous fight. But yeah, guys, with that being said, you guys have a good one. As you can see, Canelo Alvarez is not ducking no one. And with that being said, stay safe.